Hi. You ready for some more of the book? Okay. Let's go on to chapter 8. Tom was amazed. He was excited, flattered, and nervous. The Zonga, a strange power that no human on the planet had previously heard of, had compelled a Wichagong that no one else on the planet had ever seen until yesterday to meet with him. Why me, he wondered. So he asked Zeepa, why me? I don't know why, answered Zeepa. But the Zonga is never wrong. The reason will become clear over time, but certainly you seem to live in harmony with the Zonga. You seem to be at one with nature, and you love all living things, and you don't try to harm the planet. These things I have already observed about you. However, other people have shown these qualities throughout history, Tom. So I'm not quite sure why the Zonga has selected you at this time, but it has. And that means something. So we have to discover what it is that we must do. But how will we do that? Asked Tom. Well, I think we need to be together, said Zeepa, as much as possible. We must keep our eyes and ears open. Something is about to happen, Tom. And when it happens, we're going to be tasked with helping nature get through whatever it is. Shall I tell my mother and father to see if they can help too? Asked Tom. No, please don't do that, said Zeepa. That mustn't happen. Only you have been chosen by the Zonga to meet me. And already 2 others have seen me, and that's 2 people too many. We must find a way of causing Hamish and Andrew to doubt that in fact they did see me. When will you meet them again? Asked the Wichagong. At school tomorrow, said Tom, his shoulders slumping at the thought. Then I will come to school with you, said Zeepa. Tom's eyes widened at the thought of having a Wichagong at school. How will you manage to do that without being seen? He asked. Oh, we'll find a way, said Zeepa nonchalantly. But that's for tomorrow. Right now, I would like you to show me around this place where you live, Tom. I have never been in a human dwelling before. Can you show me what it's like, please? With pleasure, Zeepa, answered Tom. He was very much warming to his new special friend. But my mother and father are at home. They might see you. Zeepa frowned. He gazed around Tom's bedroom. The intelligent-looking creature appeared to be in deep thought. Then, pointing up with his strange finger, he asked, What are those, Tom? Tom looked at where the Wichagong was pointing. At the top of a bookshelf were toys. An Action Man soldier, a robot and a dinosaur. They're toys, answered Tom. What do you do with them? Asked Zeepa. I play with them, said Tom, looking a little puzzled. Don't you have toys, Zeepa? He asked. Zeepa smiled. I used to when I was a younger boy, but not anymore. And our toys didn't look like these. We played with stones and pine cones and such like. How old are you? Asked Tom. I'm just over 80 years old, said Zeepa, which makes me in human terms just slightly older than you are, Tom. Wichagong live on average for about 550 years. I'm still a boy, he said. Wow, said Tom. No wonder you speak English so well. You've been practicing it about 7 times longer than I have, he said. Zeepa smiled. Tom, he said, if I was to stay perfectly still, could you carry me around your house pretending I was a toy, so that if your mother or father did see me, they wouldn't take any notice? I guess so, said Tom. Let's try. So Tom picked Zeepa up. He was actually quite heavy for a thing only 10 inches tall, but still light enough for Tom to lift easily with one hand. Are you comfortable enough, Zeepa? Asked Tom. Quite comfortable, thank you. Let's go. And with that, Tom took Zeepa, first of all, into the bathroom. There was no one around, so Zeepa asked, What's that? He said, pointing. at the toilet pan. Tom was rather embarrassed. He blushed and he said, "It's a toilet, where we go to the toilet." Zeepa looked at Tom and said with a smile, "Ah, I see your fur goes a little bit red too when you're embarrassed." Tom smiled. "And what's that?" continued Zeepa, pointing. "Oh, that's a bath. That's where we wash ourselves," said Tom. "Gosh," said Zeepa, looking at it. "I could swim in that. You're incredibly lucky to have this." Tom looked at the bath with a new appreciation. I guess we are," he said. Next they went to the kitchen, and still no one else was around. "What's that?" asked Zeepa, pointing. "Oh, that's a cooker," said Tom, "where we cook our food." And with that he turned the knob and clicked a button on the side of the gas cooker, and a flame sparked into life. Zeepa's fur started turning red. "Are you okay?" asked Tom. "Oh yes, Tom," answered Zeepa. "This is just very interesting and exciting for me to see. I think I must be the first Wichagong ever to see around a human's house." Next Zeepa pointed at the refrigerator. "What's that?" he said. Tom was beginning to detect a note of excitement in Zeepa's voice. "It's a fridge, Zeepa. It's where we keep food fresh for longer." He opened the refrigerator door and a light came on, and they were greeted with a waft of chilled air. Zeepa's bright blue eyes grew wider still as he looked at the contents of the fridge. "What's that?" he said, pointing. It was a large yellow honeydew melon. Tom was really excited now. He felt privileged to show this strange friend all of these things that were new to him. "It's a melon, Zeepa. We don't grow them in this country. That's where you may not have seen one before." Zeepa sniffed it. "Oh, can I try a bit, please?" he said. "Sure," said Tom, reaching for a plate and a knife. He cut a slice of the melon for Zeepa and a slice for himself. Zeepa took the exotic slice of fruit and then took a large bite of the flesh together with the thick yellow skin too. Tom started to say, "Look, you don't eat the skin," when Zeepa took another bite and another and another, and with one more bite, the whole slice of the melon was already eaten. I like this," said Zeepa. "How does it get to the country?" "By airplane, I think," said Tom. Zeepa looked at the melon, and his fur lost its red colour. It quickly turned green, and then it actually started going grey. "Are you all right?" asked Tom, alarmed at the sudden change in his friend. Zeepa said, "The fruit is very tasty, Tom, and I can understand why people want to eat it. But there are many other very tasty fruits that are grown in this country. They're tasty too, but they don't cause the pollution of aeroplanes. I prefer fruit that is grown close to where I live," he said. Tom had not considered this before, and he put the melon back inside the fridge. Next, as they approached the living room, they heard voices coming from inside. "Oh, my parents are still watching TV, Zeepa. If we go in here, you're going to have to be very still." "Okay," said Zeepa, but asked quickly, "What's a TV?" "Oh, you'll see," said Tom. He walked into the living room carrying Zeepa as though he was a toy. "Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad," he said. "Oh, hi, Tom. How's your homework coming on?" asked his mother. "Oh, fine, thanks. I still got a bit to do, but I just wanted a break and a slice of melon." "What are you watching?" "Just the news, Tom," said Tom's father. Tom glanced at the TV and saw they were showing a film of the bushfires in Australia and of a vet that was aiding a wombat that had burnt its paws. The commentator was telling the audience that the bushfires were happening in the driest summer on record. All this, he said, because of global warming due to pollution. Tom glanced down at Zeepa. Zeepa was bright red. So Tom turned. I better get back to it then, he said, as he left the room and took Zeepa upstairs again to his bedroom. When they were alone once more, Tom asked, "So what do you think of my house, Zeepa?" Zeepa looked at Tom as a tear cascaded from his bright blue eye and tumbled down his cheek. "You have a very nice house, Tom. Thank you for showing it to me. but I'm beginning to understand a bit more about why humans cause so much pollution. The melon was very tasty, Tom, so I understand why people want to eat it, and more of it. And so they buy more, and so more airplanes have to fly across the sky, causing more and more pollution. This and many more things are exciting or tasty to humans, but they cause pollution too. And together, all these things are changing our planet, Tom, changing our weather, and causing so much harm. I felt so sorry for that poor wombat on TV. Tom just stared at Zeepa as he considered this. We have a great deal to do, Tom, said Zeepa, wiping the tear from his cheek. And that is the end of the chapter. Thank you for listening.